Ladies and gentlemen, filmmakers and moviegoers alike, welcome to this week's episode of Critically Casual, where I, your host Recuff, am here with my usual cohort in crime slash goodness, DorkyDev. Say hi, Dev.
Ah!
Beautiful hi.
No problem.
Yeah,
That's what I'm here for.
I know. Alright, so this week we decided that we are going to take a nice little deep dive into the worlds of DC, or DC worlds, with our movies. But before we hop into our reviews, do you have anything you want to say or do this week, Dev? Anything at all?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
Okay. Alright, because I have nothing either, so I was just going to literally just get us going right into this movie that's our movie that we're going into. And by this movie that we're going into, I'm going to explain to you for like the next 20 minutes about the movie that we're going into is Suicide Squad. Because, you know, Suicide Squad is a comic book movie about these comic book villains, and yeah, it's time to review Suicide Squad. So,
What if I don't wanna?
well, you could drag it out and make it last a while and whatever. Just keep saying any ideas that you had or like any things over and over and over again. And then I think we can get a review out of this.
Sort of like what they did with the movie.
Oh yeah, totally. Exactly like what they did with the movie.
Yeah.
Like literally right before I started watching this movie with you, because me and Dev watched this movie earlier today together because we're like, why not? We haven't watched a movie.
It's been a bit.
Yeah, we haven't watched a movie together. So, we did that. It was okay. It was disappointing.
It was an experience.
Yeah. When I watched, like right before I watched this. Yeah, it's a movie. Right before I watched this, I was with my family talking to them about like this. I was talking to them about Suicide Squad. They're like, "Yeah, we're one of the few people who actually like this movie." And I watched it myself, and I was like, "You know what? I can see why a few people like this movie. It's kind of clunky. It's poorly put together, and it just
It does your favorite thing, though.
Yes, it has 30 minutes of exposition right at the very beginning of the film. And then another 10 minutes of exposition, followed by another 20 minutes of exposition. And then there's some flashbacks, and then there's more exposition. And it's just, they're trying to explain the story while they're telling the story, and it really ruins the story.
Yep.
Okay, do I need to, am I being repetitive enough?
You're about on par with the movie itself.
Okay, good. That's what I was hoping for.
Yeah, no, this movie just does the same thing over and over. And it doesn't, I don't... This movie has cool things in it.
It has moments.
It's acted alright, given everything that's in it. I'll be honest, it's the first movie Jai Courtney's been in that I didn't hate his character. Like, I told Steven that. Like...
Yeah, I actually liked him in this movie. It was a great time. Like, he
didn't feel like Captain Boomerang. I'll say that. But
he
like,
wasn't
the
enough.
characters don't feel like themselves in some cases. And I get taking the big one that I'll talk about is like Joker. Like, everyone talks about it, but I feel like we've got to talk about it because we're talking about this film.
Mm-hmm.
He's not... The Joker could have been better. There's a lot that could have been there.
Yes. And
but nothing comes of it.
I know. There's a lot of moments from what I've heard, based on like things I've read about this film after it was made, was that a lot of Jared Leto's Joker scenes were cut and removed, but because there's so much publicity of Jared Leto being in this film, they couldn't cut all of his parts. So they just kind of threw whatever they could in there to try and give Harley Quinn a semblance of a story. Because this was her and Deadshot's movie, just with an ensemble of geese behind them. A gaggle of geese behind them.
Yeah, it really wasn't, like... This wasn't Suicide Squad, man. like I was talking to Steven, animated wise, like they've done it. Like they have Hell to Pay and Assault on Arkham with Suicide Squad in it. They did Task Force X episode of Justice League Unlimited is one of my favorite episodes. Um, and also the Task Force X in the Flareoverse. Like
Okay.
they've made this work before.
Yeah, they've made Suicide Squad happen.
Yeah,
Was it all these
but
same characters too? Because I'm ignorant in this.
give or take, Floyd Lawton's in it
Okay.
in pretty much every single one of them. Harley Quinn is in the newer animated films. Uh, I don't think Croc is. I think it's usually King Shark. Um,
Same difference in this instance, though.
Big water creature who eats people. Like most of the cast is interchangeable. I'll say that. That's the beauty of Suicide Squad. You can change any of the characters and have Suicide Squad.
Just a group of bad guys doing good things.
Not even good things. Like in Justice League Unlimited, the Suicide Squad attacks the Justice League Tower, the Watchtower in space, because that's what Amanda Waller wants them to do. Because she doesn't trust Justice League.
All right.
It's way better. Like you got to watch Justice League Unlimited all the way through, like from Justice League to Justice League Unlimited, to understand Amanda Waller in that scenario, and she does come off as actually having a point during this.
Okay.
It's not just like fuck the Justice League, I'm a villain. No, it's more of she kind of gets a Lex Luthor-ish kind of motive in there, but
Okay.
more human because Lex falls into that motive while Waller doesn't all the way. If that makes sense,
I believe I understand what you're getting at. Yeah. He.
because Lex is hell bent on humans need to be able to defend themselves, kind of thing. But with all that, this film just has a giant sky beam, and really, it doesn't do anything unique to itself. If that makes sense, like it doesn't define itself.
Mm-hmm. And there's just a whole bunch of random throwaway parts in it too. Like there's a whole throwaway character who we know is throwaway because when we're shown him, he doesn't get a really cool intro card like all the other main characters. Um, we don't get
Or any flashback or anything about him.
yeah, at all. We know nothing about him. We just know his name, what he looks like, and that he repels.
Yeah, he's the best climber.
Mm-hmm.
That is his skill.
Yep. That's it. That's all. He's not a metahuman. Just can climb.
Climbs.
That's cool. Yeah, and it's just a whole bunch of handful of things like that. Like there's jokers in there, kind of throwaway. There's a whole bunch of random gunk about Deadshot's daughter and his ex-wife. There's relationship stuff about Diablo, and while it makes sense in the movie, it kind of doesn't at the same time. And then there's this whole plot device about the Enchantress and how she's being controlled. That doesn't apply to her brother, who, spoiler, she has a brother. Like, there's this movie is 2 hours, 2 long hours of them trying to piece together like 3 different comic book arcs, is what it feels like.
Yeah, and not very gracefully.
So, like don't get me wrong, Will Smith is Deadshot, pretty good, pretty good. I liked him. His sassy arrogance did well for Deadshot.
Marco Robbie's Harley Quinn is good.
Yeah, though she was just they threw a lot of angles on her. I think, like, and by that I mean, hey, look at her butt. Camera angles, which I could kind of see as a thing that she would do to work off her feminine wiles as a character, but it's just something I observed. I'm not sure if it's a good or a bad thing. What else? Just, I mean, out of all of them, I'd have to say the least developed would have to be the slashy
Croc?
lady. Croc, too.
Oh, Katana.
I mean, Croc, his whole story is told in one line by Amanda Waller, so.
There. I don't know. Like, it's just... There's one thing... There's a bit of meat that I need to get into this as well.
Like Killer Croc.
There's a way to do music in a film.
Oh yes.
We've seen it quite a bit.
Lately,
nowadays.
we've talked about it quite a bit. Like, good music helps.
Just throwing in popular songs because they're popular, because someone else has done it in a similar style film, including one of the songs you used was in said film.
Mm-hmm. We're talking
Stop.
about Guardians. Like, so I was thinking about this. And remind me if I'm wrong here, Dev. This movie was edited by a trailer editing company.
I think you're correct if I remember the whole thing that happened with this film.
Yeah, let me double check real fast.
Because they didn't want what was already there because all the scenes got cut. Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Why the editing of Suicide Squad was its true failure, and it mentions that this is an article written by I don't know, unimportant name really, but it's confirming that yes, this movie was originally taken from its original editors and given to a company that mainly edits trailers because they liked how they edited the trailer, and you could kind of tell, especially how they use the music. Like, I'll be honest. They use the music in this movie the same way I use music in my vlogs. And it's just like background music to help fill in the dead space. Which
The problem is they use a very iconic music.
and they don't, like, at least when I use it in my vlogs, I edit to the music. I have cuts and like things matched. This was just long scenes of people walking, not even in beat to the songs, just walking or a gunfight.
Not even to be offbeat, to be purposely offbeat.
Yeah,
it was
just there.
the music was just in the film. It wasn't in the film in the sense that like a radio started playing. Like even the scene from Captain Marvel you and me had talked about where the music just starts playing from the jukebox.
Yeah.
Even that still felt better than this.
Yeah, and that I don't like. Like, I don't like that, but that was better.
It made more sense though, still, because it came from a jukebox. It came from the movie. You know what I mean? This just it's just constant music playing.
Yeah, it's just constant, and it's not even the full songs either. It's never the full songs.
It's someone sitting here on their iPod like, I heard my favorite part already. I heard my favorite part already.
Yeah.
I heard my favorite part already.
We're gonna slowly ease in the music. Yeah, it's bumping. Oh, the favorite part's past. I'm gonna lower it down. Ease in the next song. Yeah.
Well, sometimes they don't even ease in the next song. They just go beep.
You're not wrong. Like,
it's rough, man.
It's very clunkily put together. It doesn't, like, the pieces don't really match. Like, there's everything's kind of set up. Like, it's all set up together to where it's supposed to make sense, but
I mean, even look at the posters. Like, the poster you have there is different from the one that's on the IMDb. But both of them still are just like they're two very clunky posters. And even that one that you have up, like, it's got the wrong character on the front of the poster.
I'm not 100%. I'll be honest with you. I'm not even 100% sure this is a real poster.
No, that's a real poster.
Okay, because if it is, I'm disappointed because not only is the Joker the main figure in the image, it has Harley Quinn and Deadshot twice. Like, it's just right above each other. There's two of them.
I think that was one, at least,
Yeah.
if I remember correctly. I think I've remembered seeing that before, if that makes sense.
Like, it could be the original. It could be a fan-made poster. I don't really know. I don't double-check, I'll be honest. I should probably start doing that at some point. But, I get what you're saying here. It's just a menagerie of things thrown together, and it's like, all these characters have stories that you as an audience should love and know about before coming into the movie to understand what's
one of my
happening.
favorite things that I saw was a review where they pretty much said you have to read the comics to understand these characters,
Yes.
which you don't want to do to new audience members.
Yeah, you don't want to do
Like,
that
that's
in a
the
movie.
beauty of the MCU is that you don't have to read the comics to understand these characters. You could just watch the movies. Now, people like myself who read the comics and keep up to date with comics with the Marvel universe get the dual benefit of doing that and being like, oh, this is very true to the character in the comics.
Hmm.
Oh, this is a change from that. We get a little extra sustenance from this.
Yes.
This was literally like the only reason why I know these characters is because I've watched the shows and watched the cartoons and read the fucking comics. If I didn't do that, then like I would have been fucking lost.
Yeah, like me watching this, I knew basics of who each one of these characters were. Like I'd never heard of Diablo, I'll be honest. Killer Croc, it makes sense of just who he is. Captain Boomerang, never heard of him. Like, and watching this movie, I don't really think I want to know more about those characters either, because they don't make, like, I don't know much about their story other than the 1 second text that they show us and all of the exposition they show us and backstories. I mean, Captain Boomerang has none whatsoever. He has no character development or change at all in this movie. Um, but he's here to be witty at times and have like visual humor.
And get someone killed.
Yeah, it's like it's not. It's just. I could probably keep complaining about this if we wanted to. Do we want to keep complaining about this? We've been driving at it for about 16 minutes now.
Well, I'll say this. There's good parts in it, and some of those parts I think are getting carried over to the next one. The
I have news about the
prequel,
next one, by the way, for later.
I think Jai Courtney's got to be in it. I think Margot Robbie's got to be in it. Will Smith is not, but that's just due to conflict of schedule.
Mm-hmm.
It's not. Then they're going to leave the door open for him to return. From what it sounds like, it's not a. His character's just going to get killed off screen,
Nope.
which is fair because his character's one of the best parts of this film. And it's a smart move to leave his character open to come back. And James Gunn's going to be doing it, so the guy who made Guardians of the Galaxy, which this movie tried to be, making a version of this film better. I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully this reboot that changes it
Reboot
does.
cool.
It's because it's not a sequel,
But it's not a reboot.
but it is a sequel.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's like they're interchanging the characters because they're interchangeable. Huh.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, it's just, and I dig on this before. I've digged on it before, but the fact that this movie has an Oscar for makeup over fucking Star Trek Beyond still bugs the ever living shit out of me.
But I mean, I'll agree at the same time. Like the makeup in this movie was fine. Like I can understand that it might be like more consistent throughout the whole film than in Star Trek Beyond.
No, dude, Star Trek Beyond was crazy.
I'm gonna
Makeup,
explain because the makeup in this was so much simpler than the makeup in Star Trek Beyond. Like Margot Robbie, white face, a little bit of red and blue and black outlines and highlights. That's it. Killer Croc. Sure, you have like a textured suit, but once that's on, that's it. That's like there's a whole bunch more creativity and design and stuff with Star Trek. So there's a lot more scrutiny when it comes to it.
Yeah, well, that one had a fucking lady who had a prosthetic thing added to her head to open up the back and close the back to have something on it. You remember that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for the most part, because I was really drunk when I watched that in 3D. But
What? That's a story for another time.
yeah, that's a story indeed.
But like it still bugs me. See, the fact that it's a superhero film with an Oscar and it's this bad, while we've had other ones that are fucking far better.
Mm-hmm.
And even just the makeup department pisses me off. And it's so meh.
Out of everything, I think the main, like the part that I liked the most was Amanda Waller's character. Like, don't get
I
me
was
wrong,
gonna say the credits.
the credits were great. Yeah, we didn't even watch them. We could skip those. No, I liked her character because to me, it really like we get to see a lot of her character compared to the
Okay,
others.
actually, no. I agree with you, and I agree with my point because the end credit scene, like, not a huge spoiler, but like
Hmm.
it's got a moment with another character that really feels in universe.
Hmm.
It feels like a true end credit. Like, it feels like what an end credit should be.
Like if it was the perfect teaser, honestly. Like
It was.
if that end credit scene was just like if I had watched Suicide Squad and I saw that end credit scene as like a commercial on TV for the next trailer, I would be hyped. I'd be like, "That's really great advertising in a different kind of way." Like that's
Yeah,
a
no, I
really
mean
cool
that's like
scene.
that was a Nick Fury showing up on in Iron Man level end credits.
Hmm.
Which
So
has been far there have been far better end credits since then, but that just goes to show you that DC can do this.
it can connect its movies and its universe very well. It just
But the problem is this film like takes place over fucking like
days
12-hour days,
is what
dude.
it
It
feels
takes
like.
place, which then breaks your in-universe stuff. Like me and Steven talked about it, like during Thor: Dark World. It takes place like the moment when everyone would need to be there takes place in like 10, 15, 20 minutes, maybe an hour. Iron Man's not going to get from New York to London in time.
Yeah.
Like, no one's going to get there in time to help out. Or they'll get there for the tail end, and by that point, Thor's already taken care of it. So, this being multiple days long, and the Flash and Wonder Woman and Batman all being established, breaks the universe.
Like I don't necessarily. I'm gonna be honest. I think we're exaggerating a bit by saying days, but even still, we know that the Flash can run backwards in time. So him being unable to help in this situation where he could literally just run up and what was it? Infinite mass punch, fucking
He doesn't
enchantress.
know that yet. He doesn't know that yet. He doesn't know that yet.
I know
He'll
it's not
learn.
yet in that universe, but still.
Well, I mean, it would have solved the bomb issue.
Hmm. At the very least, because the giant, yeah, like the movie ends very unclimactically with how so easily the MacGuffin, the giant whatever it is that the world destroying beam, how easily that's destroyed is ridiculous. Like,
Yeah, no, they shoot themselves in the foot several points in this because like we see this movie go from the incident starts during the day or morning or night. I think it starts at a night from what it looks like.
I believe so. Yes, it
This
starts with the Enchantress releasing her brother at night.
subway stuff happens. They go there, and then the Suicide Squad shows up during the next sunset.
Yes, and then it takes them an entire day to figure everything out.
Entire night.
Yeah, because the sun's
But
rising by the time they're finishing.
that's at least 24 hours.
Yeah, 24 to 36 hours.
There's so much time for Batman, Wonder Woman, and Flash to get there. And Aquaman, for fuck's sake. Aquaman could have got there. Like, Midway City may be in the middle of nowhere, but Aquaman could have fucking taken a bus there at this point.
Like, he did hijack a plane and make it to the Sahara Desert from the middle of the ocean. So, like, no, in Italy too, right? Or France, or yeah. So,
Could have easily... Like, the fact that we have these characters that were established in a movie before not doing anything in a way that doesn't make sense just kind of sucks.
yeah. So, Dev,
Yeah.
if you had a handful of popcorn kernels, like,
How many?
say about 10 of them,
Okay.
how many of those popcorn kernels would you use to rate this movie?
I'd give it 4.
4. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't disagree with you.
I'm not gonna give it a. It doesn't even get a 50% for me, but I mean, there are still good moments in it.
Hmm.
So, like, I
Yeah.
just
I kind of agree with you. This is definitely like it's not it's I wouldn't even really say it's a
actually no. I
fifty-fifty.
even have to put it lower. I have to put it at a 3 because, like, music, man, the music just kills it for me. Like, the more I think about it, like that music just hurts
Hmm.
the way they do
I
it.
had to like I honestly started zoning it out most of the time because like it's there, but it's not needed. It doesn't add to the scene. It's just music that they kind of thought, "Hey, they say one line in this song that's kind of relevant to the moment. So, let's use it. It's
Yeah,
popular." Yeah. So,
it's rough.
yeah. So you give it a 3. I'll stick with your original of giving it a 4. Like sure it's
Okay,
fine. It's could be a lot better. But hey, it won an Oscar.
shut up.
So, let's move on, shall we? To the next movie. Um, Dev, can you do one favor? Can you just, like, say my name? Just say my name and get the power of my nitpicky reviewing skills.
Fuck that shit. I'm out.
You're not worthy.
I don't want to be.
Just hold on to the pen and we can. Oh, hang on one second. I'm lagging really hard here. One second. Oh. Okay, we're good again.
Fuck
There.
your bed. Um, Man, this was the best. I'm gonna say this was the best DC film yet.
I'm not quite to that point, but I would agree with you. It's pretty damn great. This film
Okay.
was like I'm still torn between Aquaman and Shazam for different reasons.
Well, I still would probably put Aquaman below Wonder Woman, but
I can understand that. I just had more fun watching Aquaman than I did watching
that's
Wonder
fair.
Woman.
It's definitely a more fun film. That's
Yeah.
exactly like how my rating system right now for DC, since we could just do it real quick, is like Shazam, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Man of Steel. Then it was I think I would have put
Is it
Justice
BVS
League.
or Justice League?
Those two are kind of tied for that spot. I'll be dead honest. And then Suicide Squad on the bottom.
Suicide Squad.
Yeah. Um, but those two are kind of tied for being shit. For different reasons.
Yeah.
But like with this film, the reason why Wonder Woman beats Aquaman is because Wonder Woman has a more like developed plot and more developed like
Hmm.
reasoning for me
Yes.
personally.
That I completely
But it
agree
falls
with.
apart in the third act when the boss fight happens.
Also true.
Aquaman stays consistently funny and just goes off the walls with
Hmm.
itself, which is why I feel like that one it doesn't feel as impactful, but it's just fun.
Hmm. And that's also why I like this movie, Shazam. Like, it takes the fact that our main characters are 14 going on 15, makes it a superhero movie, and it's fun and it's goofy and it's lighthearted and
But it also has a lot of good serious moments. Like, it actually feels like solid serious moments.
like
This is DC.
yes, this is really DC. Like there are even moments in this film where like I was watching this movie in a theater crammed with people where according to Twitter I was the fifth wheel of a double date and it was really funny because I'm sitting there watching this movie happening and then suddenly out of nowhere there's a scene that if I was a child would have had me terrified and the children in the theater were screaming because it was fucking dramatic and like but then it goes to the very next scene and then they're like playing baseball and launching footballs into the sun and it's like I love it has all the tone and seriousness of a good DC animated movie, but then it also has just the boisterous, joyful moments.
That they have too. This is what like this reminds me of Justice League animated, where it's able to balance the seriousness that DC does really well with the kind of goofiness that it does so well. Like this is what I've been wanting them to do. Like I know some people are already comparing to Marvel, but this is different from Marvel in my opinion. Besides one thing, which is the villain issue, but that's just an issue across all superhero
Yeah,
movies.
that's something I'm going to talk to you about later on too.
Fair. But like this film, like it feels genuine.
Mm-hmm.
Like it feels like it's trying to actually be something that is different from other superhero films in some ways, and be like it's not trying to just copy like it's in the formula, we'll say,
Yes.
but it's its own take on a formula.
Yeah. So I agree with you, and I have a handful of things I'm going to use to kind of just throw out there.
Okay.
One of the things in this movie that I thought was kind of interesting, but also kind of really didn't like, was a lot of the superhero meta humor. Like, this movie does a kind of a handful of jabs like Deadpool does, where it's like, hey, watch the superhero landing, and then it does the superhero landing, and you're like, hey, superhero landing, yeah, and then it goes on. Like, it
That's
makes
fair. Um, with some of the meta stuff though, I'll say like some of like I feel like some of the stuff like the superhero commentary, we'll call it, makes sense for their universe. Because like let's be honest, if superheroes were real, we'd merchandise the shit out of them.
Well, yeah.
And we'd have fanboys who keep bullets and wear their t-shirts. I mean, I don't feel like both these films have scenes with someone with a Superman shirt that we've talked about.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Mind you, I will say it does feel a little heavy-handed at times with that.
Mm-hmm.
I will contest that point because there are some moments where it feels heavy-handed, but at the same time, it feels like it's coming from the perspective of two teenagers.
Yeah, it's just it makes me wonder because I had this thought with Deadpool and Deadpool 2. It was, does making fun of like the superhero tropes and then following through with them make it an excusable means of portraying this kind of storyline or thought? Because I'm a little iffy on it only because in Deadpool he's playing to the audience. He's intentionally breaking the fourth wall multiple times throughout the film, and it adds to the charm of Deadpool. In this instance, it's just like, that's what superheroes do, man. They fight people with the same powers. It's just superhero stuff, man. And
well, they don't. They never say that.
Not
like
that
the same
direct.
power thing happens,
but
that's also just because I don't think they defined. It was. It's easier to copy the. It's a good way to show. It's a good first outing. Like, let's be honest. If your hero's doing something, the first outing is usually a safe bet to go against someone with similar powers.
yeah, that way they can learn what their powers can do in the wrong hands, so they have a good moral guiding compass of blah 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 whatever.
Yeah, it's classic hero stuff 101. And I do feel like people like jab at that more than they probably should because like there are ones that break the mold. Like Captain Marvel doesn't fight a character with supernova powers. But again, there's a lot that do just fall into that mold. But at the same time, part of it is it's almost necessary in some ways so that you can understand the hero's compass. Because if you just have so
Can you repeat that last bit after Hero's Compass?
but if you have someone fight someone with a completely different.
Oh, god damn it! Hold on a second, Dev. Sorry, my internet's acting up.
I noticed. It's like we're on a static TV.
Yeah, hold. Hold.
I think we're good. Oh.
Wait, one more second. Okay. Hit me with the Hero's Compass one more time.
The Hero's Compass issue is that if you have someone with a very different power set, we don't understand what this we don't understand what this character's powers can do in the wrong hands, like you said. Like with Captain Marvel, I don't think we'll ever get that with her.
That was one thing I kind of thought weird with the Kree, how like she had the powers, but none of the
It's
others.
because of the explosion.
Yeah.
She absorbs it from the Tesseract.
Yeah, so it was like, yeah, I'm not gonna get diverted on Captain Marvel right now. Let's keep going. Sorry.
But it's very much like she has a very unique set that would take a very unique set of circumstances to create.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes more sense for this to be what it is. Like this, it makes sense to go up against someone with similar powers because like one of the next villains will probably be someone with the same set of powers as Shazam as well.
Yeah.
With Black Adam being in the universe, which I felt weird that wasn't really set up other than in just one line.
Yeah, it was never teased, other than
yeah,
right at the
like, and it looks like The Rock when they use it,
Mhm.
which he's supposed to play the Black Adam, but it just doesn't feel like it feels. It's all right.
Oh.
I'm okay with that. It's not a main focus, but
There-
it just feels weird.
There's one thing when we get to the very end, like when we get to spoilers, I might need you to explain something to me as a person who doesn't know comic books. Like,
Post credit.
yeah,
Okay.
okay,
Knew exactly what you're gonna talk about.
yeah.
And I had to do a little research. I'll tell you that.
I figured I was going to, but after our last conversation about you saying you had to research Guardians for your friends, I was like, he'll do it for me. I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I even he cut like this random character that shows up just kind of slipped through the cracks for me for a moment. I was like, I kind of think I know who that is, but I need a refresher.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know a lot of Shazam villains, so yeah, no, this film it's big with superpowers. That's the best way to put it. It's good. It's a good family film as well. Besides the fact that there are some fucking scary ass parts.
Yeah, like this movie does well to change its tone very suddenly, but it's not like dramatic. Like,
Well,
I mean,
do you know who did this?
do I know? Oh, I did not look it up offhand. IMDb Shazam. Oh, that's not IMDb. That's Fandango. Here we go. There's IMDb. Let's see. Directed by David F. Sandberg.
Do you know what he's done?
Let's find out. Going through here, he's been known for the Annabelle Creation series.
And Lights Out. He was like he's
a horror.
Yeah, but he got essentially picked up by James Wan.
Yeah, that's cool. See,
And so
that just goes into
and it reminded me of when you talked about
horror
with
comedy.
Aquaman the horror moments that happened.
Mm-hmm.
That you were like, "Oh, these were cool."
Yeah.
You enjoyed those moments.
Mm-hmm. Like, every time there's a tone shift and I could feel my skin crawl, I enjoy that. That's like, oh, these are the parts in the film that I live for. And that genuinely happened in this. Don't get me wrong, like, the antagonists, all of them, they don't look very good, but, and, like, when you look at them for long periods of time, they don't look very good. But my biggest complaint with them, other than that, is that they're not consistent throughout the whole throughout the whole movie. But then,
Yeah, they look way better earlier in the film than they do later.
Plus, just
which,
what they
again
do
goes
later.
to my CGI. Well, yeah, their looks and what their mindset kind of shifts later in the film, which I mean, I don't like, but at the same time, the rest of the film kind of picks up the slack for that. I'll say, with some of the things that happen in the film, which is going to get me in the spoiler territory, and I really want to talk about it because it was something that I didn't see coming, at least in this film.
Oh.
It was something that I thought would happen in the sequel.
That's what I was thinking too, possibly. That's what I want to talk to you about, because this whole storyline I thought was one version of Shazam, but it's kind of a mixture of multiple versions of the story of Shazam.
Yeah, it's got like it's kind of like two stories that worked well together for setup. Because like it does all. I mean, and the cast is good. I'll say that the cast is entertaining. Even the child actors are good in this film.
Yes. The only one that I kind of have a complaint about is just F word name.
Ready?
Yes.
Oh, come on, Freddy's great.
He was funny. He was hilarious. But like, I don't know. It was something. It just I didn't quite feel Freddy. He was almost there. He was almost to the point that I wanted him at, but not quite.
Fair enough, I
I'm
guess.
I'm just being stingy. I'm sorry.
Fair enough. But it's just it's a feel good superhero film, which I'm fine with. You know, like I'm fine with superhero films that are feel goods. Like there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, it's feel good, but it's also a tearjerker at one moment. And
Yeah, it does.
it has all the emotions you want from a origin superhero story. I think.
Yeah, no, it does everything that you would have wanted it to do. So I mean, thumbs up from me. Like, good job, DC. You're continuing this trend of going in the right direction after Aquaman.
They finally
Um,
decided to do the right thing, which is stick with the individual movies and then eventually create a Justice League.
yeah, which is what they should have been doing from the fucking get go. But you know,
Nope, they're just going to do the tentpole characters and then we'll fill it in over time.
yeah, I mean, it's sad to say that it's not too little, too late, but it's almost feels that way.
Yeah, they've really ruined their reputation with their early movies. So it's good that they're catching up now. They're finally doing the right thing with their new modern films. But it's just they started off on the wrong foot, and first impressions really matter.
Yeah,
So they've lost quite a large chunk of an audience's trust, and they're never gonna get that back. It's not gonna be. It's not until we have an Avengers level Justice League movie that we'll see DC being the fan favorite that they're supposed to be.
yeah, I can agree with that, and it sucks, but I mean, I'm gonna still go see their films and just see what they turn out.
Hell,
What happens?
if I were to direct comparison Shazam, a hero near the strength of Superman, and this origin story to Captain Marvel, the supposed strongest hero in the MCU that we know of to date, and her origin story, I'd say Shazam's better.
Actually, yeah, I'd agree with you. Just based off of that, you understand Shazam's character a little bit better. You understand Billy Batson a little better than you do with Captain Marvel, and that's nothing to like. One, Zachary Levi and Asher Angel. They do a good job of being able to kind of keep this character consistent through things.
That's something I'm kind of disagreeing on a little bit.
I'll counter that with he's a teenager when he's a teenager, but he's excited to be an adult when he's an adult.
Yeah, like when I watched this movie, I kind of thought it was weird because teenage Billy Batson was moody and kind of depressing, but then instantly, now that he has powers, he's giddy and happy, and he's kind of a completely different person. But it makes sense because he essentially is a completely different person.
And to go along with that, it's also the fact that it's escapism. He literally has superhero escapism without having to go to fucking see a film. He gets to be it. He gets to just escape his reality and do what he wants. Because he doesn't have to worry about the things that he was worried about before. He just can do whatever he wants in that form.
And I do have to say, the one moment of Freddy that I really enjoyed was when he puts Billy in his place later on in the movie, like saying that he's a bully and all that stuff. Like, that was possibly my most favorite scene in this entire movie.
It's a good scene. Well, and it's Nano V movies put this pretty well. I'll talk about it real quick.
Yeah.
Is he talked about he recently did a rewrite of Man of Steel and changed it a bit to kind of change the arc for Superman in that film, because Superman doesn't really feel like Superman at the end of that film. He's destroying a ton of stuff and everything. He's not saving people. He's just letting things happen around him. But if you change that story from being from Superman going from not really knowing how to protect everything at once to being able to protect everything at once, he becomes Superman. This film has Shazam start out as being this cocky, arrogant character to transferring into a hero. And you see that change, you see that growth, you see that development throughout the film, and it works.
See, with I kind of agree with you there because with my biggest complaint when I watched Man of Steel was that the whole theme behind Superman is like he's told not to use his powers, and then like he has to debate with himself every time, is it worth doing this kind of thing? And he's constantly rejecting the call to action. Like he'll do it and he'll reject it and go back to his norm. And it's even after he becomes Superman, he's still partially rejecting the whole call to action part. And that's why that like I think Man of Steel suffered. Shazam, he gets his call to action and he like don't get me wrong, he has a little bit of the denial and the running from it, but he almost instantly switches to, you know what, this is my duty, it is my job.
Well, I'll say it's not instant. It's when certain things he realizes he needs to protect are put into peril.
Yeah, it's
and then he realizes not just that needs to be protected, but everything needs to be protected.
It's the moment where this all the pivot point for him and his character all comes down to the hotel scene.
Yeah, that's the pivot,
Mm-hmm.
which it's done really well, and it's so this is a good DC superhero film. Like I don't know how else to put it. Like, and even the music in it is actually pretty good too, because the moments that they do it, like lightning from my hands, lightning from my hands, lightning from my hands. That was amazing. Yeah. Like I know because it takes place in Philadelphia, so you know Rocky references are going to happen from time to time. It's Philly, but I didn't expect that, and it was such a fucking beautiful moment to have happen. So,
I thought it was kind of funny because speaking of Rocky references, they have a Rocky reference of him of them both at the top of the staircase. And it's because Rocky won. He climbs up the staircase in his training montage and like, yeah, we did it, yeah. And I thought it was funny because it's the superhero man and then the handicapped boy. And it's like, no wonder Rocky trained so hard to get up here. It's a great view, and it's just a staircase, and they're just sitting and viewing. And it's like, this is nice. Yeah. All right. That was like the high of that film, and this is us just relaxing.
Yeah. And I enjoyed the training montage.
Oh, yeah.
The hero montages.
I enjoyed that except for the YouTube part. I'll be honest.
I mean, I felt that was
like it felt
time period.
It's very timely. It's very much like kids our age and younger. Our generation and younger would do the exact same thing. Record it, put it on YouTube. But like I don't like how they use the transition of uploading to be like the passage of time in his development. I would have rather it been like the subscriptions and the followers, which they do show at least once, but a lot of it is just
that sub count, bro.
Yeah, it's just the constant uploading of the videos is supposed to be his progression, and I'm not sure I like that as much.
Fair. I still felt it was, it was good in my opinion. It worked well for the film itself. But yeah, I mean, other than that, if Steven, let's say you had some popcorn in front of you.
Ooh, how many popcorns is how much popcorn? 10?
10 pieces of popcorn.
10 pieces of popcorn. Okay.
What would you give this film?
This film is pretty good. It's pretty good. I would have to say 8.5. Probably. Almost 9. Definitely almost a 9 from me. This is good. It has great moments for emotions and humor and stuff. It has great tone changes, but like... And its whole story and stuff like that is fine. But it does have small things every now and then. Like I said,
That's fair.
So...
That's fair. I'd probably give it an 8.5 myself, actually. So...
There you go. Nice solid 8.5 all around, I'd say.
Yeah, no, it's not a bad film. I would suggest go see it. It's fun.
Absolutely. Like I wouldn't. There's nothing super amazingly special about going to see this in theaters, like. But I would definitely say go see it as soon as you can because it's fun and you don't want anything's really spoiled for you, except for right now because we're about to head into spoilers, and review this a little bit deeper and dive into much more parts of the nitty gritty here. So,
yes.
If you don't want spoilers, fly away, say his name and fly away to the nearest movie theater where you could watch this and then come back and watch us. But
Yeah, and if you're watching on this YouTube, you can skip to this point in the time code.
oh, don't make me do that. I'm probably not going to do that.
Oh, come on! You just need to put a time of when we start the news.
Fine.
Not that hard.
Fine. My computer's been acting up lately. I'll have to explain it later, but
Fair enough. That's fair.
fine. Let's talk about Shazam. Now that Dev's giving me more work. It's fine.
I'm
So,
the best boss.
I really liked, like how I mentioned how it was a combining of two stories. I'm not sure if we want to drive straight to the end or if there's anything in the beginning we want to talk about first.
Eh?
Okay, how about this? Let's first talk about our villain, our bad guy, and how he was developed.
Ah, yes. Played by Mark Strong, returning to the DC
Yes.
after playing Sinestro.
Yeah, so that's one question I had. Do you think that having Sinestro come back as another DC villain, do you think that was a good idea or a bad idea?
I don't think it really changed anything.
Yeah.
Mark Strong is a decent villain actor, so like, I feel like he's getting typecast a little bit, but
Yeah, I definitely agree he was typecast, but it was fine. Like, his role...
I thought he was fine. Like, I thought he was, he did good with the role he was given, and he felt like he felt good. Like, it felt like a developed villain with the past stuff that we see, and with the fact that, he like, I liked the part towards the end where it's envy that's still inside of him.
Yes, that's 100% something I wanted to start talking about. Because his whole character, his whole drive is that he was denied superpowers. Because the original Shazam at the Council of Wizards decided that he wasn't good enough. However, we look at Billy Batson, the current champion of Shazam, and he's definitely not the best person out there. He robs, he steals, he runs away.
Does that. He doesn't steal much. He stole a sandwich, Steven.
Yeah.
He didn't really steal.
No, I get you, but still, he's definitely not like the perfect person. And
No.
we see that instantly when Shazam's like, "You're the best I've got. You're not perfect, but you're the one I've got. You're the best chance."
You're what we have right now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're the best chance. You've got this. So then I was thinking about this, and I have to say, I wish that this had more development for our villain. Like, I liked him. He was good. But I agree with him more. Like, he was denied something. A chance at something that would make his life incredibly incredible.
Yeah.
In his life where his dad and his brother blamed him for everything, essentially.
Yeah.
And, like, the only difference between Billy Batson and him is nothing, really, at the time. We only get to see Billy Batson do a heroic act in saving his brother, like his foster brother. But even then, it's kind of, like, not really warranted heroic act. It's just kind of like... So my whole point thing is I kind of more feel for the villain in this instance.
No, I feel for the villain. He's kind of one-dimensional, but almost two-dimensional, if that makes sense. Like,
he's one-dimensional because of how he was written, but I see a lot more potential for him.
and with the end credit, there's a chance he'll come back.
Yes, which something I also wanted to talk to you about since we're here. Who or what?
Mr. Mind.
Okay.
All right, let me pull it up real quick so I can get my facts right. Mr. Mind.
So those of you who don't know, in the mid-credit scene is our villain, after he's been defeated in jail, carving the runes of Shazam into his jail cell over and over and over and over again as he's trying to get back to the realm and get back his magic powers. And then suddenly this little tiny black thing is sitting in the windowsill and kind of talking like this about magic.
Ah, yeah. So Mr. Mind is a 2-inch worm with telepathic powers and genius intellect. He's from Venus, and he runs the Monster Society of Evil.
Okay.
He's a very... So, his original comic design used to have him with that box and glasses.
Really?
From the Silver Age, yes.
Okay.
But they changed it after Infinity Crisis to be more like what you saw there, but with the box. He's got a lot of members in that group. Noya. He's also like other members of that group. You know, like he's got like some Nazi. He's got like, dude. He's got monsters.
So
like, that's the thing.
by off chance, do any of those monsters, as we know, perform magic, or does Mr. Mind use magic?
He doesn't, other than like maybe telepathy, but that could just be developed for him.
Yeah.
But it's that they're usually people who went and searched for magic.
Okay.
Like investigated, which is why there's Nazis in there. Because like if you didn't know, Adolf during World War II was very invested in actually trying to see if magic was real.
I mean, I could agree with one of my favorite sayings of the internet is this: there's no such thing as magic. It's just lost science. And it's like, that's a cool thought to think about. But
I don't really believe that that's what the DC has, though. I'll say their magic is magic, while like Marvel's is more undiscovered science.
Yeah, I was about to say it has to be magic in DC because that's the only thing Superman is weak to.
Yeah,
magic.
And also like Wonder Woman's powers wouldn't really be explained by science. There's their gods are actual gods. Like they're not, an alien species from Asgard. They're actual motherfucking gods in their universe. So he is kind of a classic campy villain. I'll say that. But this film is kind of that classic campy 90s superhero feel. So, but making it work.
Yeah.
So, as soon as I was like, dude, this guy's got to be from the Silver Age, if I remember correctly. Yeah, dude, he used to have fucking glasses, so...
All right. So that's Mr. Mind. Makes sense.
Mr. Mind.
Mr. Mind. Mr. Mind.
Mr. Mind.
Mr. Mind. Mr. Mind. Oh, also, real fast, because I did that, it reminded me of trailers, because watch trailers. I watched...
Which trailer you're talking about?
Dora or Pokemon?
Pokemon.
Yeah.
Yeah, both?
Yeah, both were in there.
I didn't have the Dora one.
Yeah, I saw it.
For you.
Yeah, it was the first trailer that came on, and I was instantly pissed off. I was like, no, don't make me watch this! Because I know we're gonna have to. And I actually watched the trailer this time, because I was there in the theaters and it was playing, and... No! Just no! And we're watching it, and I know in August it's gonna happen because I'm gonna make it happen. But god damn it!
See, I knew the trailer would make it happen, so now we can be miserable together.
I don't want to. Okay, getting back on track.
Pokemon looks good though.
Pokemon does look good. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, same. But no, like this film. 7 Deadly Sins are all pretty good. They look way better earlier in the film,
yes.
Like in the room in the office building.
Mm-hmm.
They look intimidating in that scene.
Yes, when they first appear, they've got the shadows and like the glowing eyes, and they're legitimately terrifying because you don't get to see the stuff they do, except you do at the same time, and it's like them eating heads off in one bite.
My fucking god, I didn't see that coming.
No, or like the part that really got me was right as they were leaving and Greed attacked the father. Like I swore to shit that door was gonna close before we saw Greed make contact with the father. But was I fucking wrong? Because we just see like the contact, and then we start seeing ripping, and then the door closes. There's no blood or anything, but if there was, holy shit, man!
Yeah. Man, do those things, like, they go hard, and it's,
At least originally they did.
Yeah, and then they kind of get nerfed. But I felt like they had to get nerfed later in the film in order to do the thing that I didn't see coming. I expected this in the sequel.
Yeah, the split.
Yeah, being, like, the Shazam crew.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's something that I knew would happen in the sequel.
I thought it
That
would
was
be,
when I predicted that.
I thought it would be the reverse. I remember there being the Shazam story of one Shazam kid, and then there's the Shazam story of the 5 Shazam kids who make Shazam.
No, you're thinking of something completely different.
Am I?
Yeah, that sounds more like Captain Planet. That's not how that works.
Hang on.
Shazam is able to give his powers to other people that he trusts, to family.
Let me double check this. Because I know that there is somewhere a superhero at some point that I've seen where 5 kids transform into a Superman-esque hero.
It's not Shazam.
Okay.
Wow, they actually, Jesus Christ, I didn't realize, but their other Shazams are pretty much like identical to their comic selves. Holy shit, I just remembered that. Like the family's like other form, Eugene, Darla, Pedro, Mary, and Freddy's are almost the only one that's different is Freddy's, and Freddy's is different because it has longer hair.
Okay.
But like other than that, all of them are almost identical to their actual forms on there.
Okay.
Holy crap, I didn't even notice that until then.
Like, I did... So, I have a handful of complaints about the ending of this film.
Fair?
The first one being that we get to see that the sins having the power that we didn't really think about, and that's that they can go, like, incorporeal, or whatever the term is for it. They can't be touched by anything
Turn to
physical.
smoke monster.
Yeah, they turn into a smoke monster. And it's like, that's really cool for about 2 minutes when it's relevant, and then instantly they stop doing it. And then the whole middle part of the movie is about Shazam learning how to use his powers and learning how to be a hero, and then all of the Shazam kids know how to use their powers instantly. And, like, I understand that it's the climax of the film and they can't have bumbling heroes save the day, because then it's anticlimactic.
I have a counterpoint to that.
Okay.
Wisdom of Solomon.
I don't think that counts, only because... unless the wisdom is something that can be... Like, I'm not entirely sure I believe that, only because the wisdom of Solomon isn't really shown throughout the entire film at all. He's just a bumbling
No, it's not.
kid.
But if you know Captain Marvel and what the Wisdom of Solomon entails for him, you know that it gives him photographic memory and like he's able to memorize skills and stuff that he learns forever.
Okay.
He doesn't lose that. So, if that's the case and he transfers that, they all get that too.
Okay. But then it brings up another question. Does Shazam, our Shazam, still have all of the powers? Like, it shows that he
Yes.
does. But I
believe all of them have those powers, but they were able to latch on to a certain one.
It's just whatever their personality was more driven towards.
Yeah, like I'll say that because like they do all show bits of super strength, and they all do bits of super invulnerability. Because if they didn't, they would have died.
Yes. Which I'm totally fine with. It'd be cool if we actually saw people die in the film.
This dude got his head bitten off. What more do you want?
Other than I wanted to see more of that. That was cool. Like, I was genuinely...
If this was a PG-13 or R-rated... Oh, sorry, an R-rated superhero film, then maybe.
Maybe. But they couldn't have made it because it needed to be kid-friendly. And it was kid-friendly for the most part.
Although that scene, which... Jesus Christ. That was something else.
Yeah. And Envy also being the one inside him. I kind of veered away from that a little bit. That I thought was really cool. Being that he envies Shazam and all his powers.
Yes.
But,
like, that was good. That was good.
Yeah, that was the best. Like, I was sitting there wondering the whole time. I was like, why is it the 7 deadly sins? Why can't it be any other cosmic anomaly?
That's just what he's actually been up against in the comics as well. It's directly tied to the comics, and I like how they tied that in.
Yeah,
well.
they tied
like,
it in.
They had greed attack the father because he's greedy, and they had
all of them definitely had a quality to them that you could tell was each one. But I agree with Shazam. I figured Lust.
I
would've been
couldn't tell
hotter.
all of them apart. I'll say that. I could tell Gluttony out of the group. Greed was easy.
Yeah.
And Envy was easy.
Wrath was
The
easy.
others, was Wrath the one with the wings?
No, Wrath was the big hulking guy that was beating up Shazam.
Okay, which one was the one with the wings?
The one with the wings, I believe, was Lust.
Was that Lust?
Yeah.
Because the nails? Okay. Honestly, I'll say the homunculi are easier to tell apart than these.
Yep. But they also have a lot of similar design elements. At least Gluttony does.
Yeah, dude, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, dude, that's straight up homunculi. That's straight up. Mind you, this one looked better than the one from the Full Metal Alchemist movie.
Which is not saying much because this still looks like shit.
It looks better because of CGI, I'll be dead honest, instead of a fucking fake ass thing on a dude. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
That fucking goddamn moment.
Yeah. So, I instantly lost the one more thing I was about to talk about. Hold up while I think about it. What did you want to talk
How did you feel about the Superman cameo?
I thought it was cute, but unwarranted.
And a little bit weird given that Henry Cavill's not in the role anymore?
Yeah, you could tell it was not Henry Cavill's body. You could just tell it was someone wearing a similar looking Superman suit, and they cut his head off.
Yeah.
That's about it. Like, I thought it was cute because they referenced it in the very beginning of the film, but I'm not sure it was needed. Especially now because we don't know who Superman is.
Yeah. And like, it felt a little off. I did like the credit sequence though.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. I thought it was partially like just Zachary Levi getting his sweet revenge because against Jason Momoa, because it's like I just imagine him at Comic-Con.
Oh no, not that one. I'm talking about like the actual like art moment of the credits. The credit sequence before the mid credits.
Yeah.
Where it's like the drawn Shazam doing like
That's what I
interacting
was
with everyone.
talking about. Like John Shazam was going through his interactions, but then there's like a moment where John Shazam is like at a comic or a signing, and then right next to him is Aquaman, who's like raking in all the fans and stuff, while Shazam is just sitting alone. And I thought that was kind of like an offshoot from Zachary Levi being like, "Hey, could you throw something in like?"
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to talk about the Aquaman moment at the end.
That was also hilarious. The end credit scene where
This movie's funny and it's cute and it works.
It's just-
Do you ever think of what you were trying to think of?
not entirely. It's just once again, I don't know if I 100% agree with all the like meta superhero humor, because they reference it with like fighting the guy with the same powers. They mentioned that at least once. They have moments of like him developing his abilities, and it's like you could do this at this, and it's a superhero origin stuff that's normal, but they also make fun of it. They have the whole climactic we're across from the city in the air talking to each other and monologuing, but they stereotype that in a different way and make fun of it, but they still do it. And it's like, does you making fun of these tropes still excuse you from doing the tropes in the film? And while I kind of think it's funny because this is like kids who idolize superheroes and one of them is becoming a superhero and he gets the tropes, I just don't think it fits as well as just a fourth wall breaking hero.
That's fair. I can attest to that a little bit. But time will tell and the box office will tell.
Which, if I think it's going to go well, don't get me wrong. I don't.
Yeah, so far.
I don't think it's gonna like Us. I don't think it's gonna make as much money as Us. I'll be honest. Which is saying
Probably
something.
not.
Because this is a good film and it's a very popular IP. It's intellectual property. It's people know of Shazam. People know DC. And the fact that a Jordan Peele movie is gonna go better and sell better, in my opinion. I don't know because I haven't checked the box office. But my hunch is just that IP is gonna do better than Shazam. And I think that's amazing.
Fair. Well, guess that wraps up Shazam.
To wrap up Shazam, is there anything else I wanted to gripe about?
Fucking punk.
I still have to think my biggest disappointment is just the sins at the end. How they completely changed. They're not murderous monsters at the end. They're like, don't get me wrong, they're fighting and they're doing their best, but like they don't even go smoky anymore when they're fighting. My thought was like, how can the Shazam fight go on if they can't touch these people? And guess what? It doesn't matter because they decided that you can touch us after all.
Well, I expected more lightning.
I expect more lightning. And then I remember what I was going to gripe about. They suddenly, right at the climax of the film, they started using slow motion. And then I thought they instantly started overusing the slow motion because it was every like they did it once and I was like, "Oh, that's cool." And then all of the characters had a slow motion moment and I was like, "Okay, now you're just overdoing it, man. Come on."
Well, there's one character who had the slow motion. It was what's her name? Darla's hero.
Superhero
Was the
Darla.
one who was because she's their Flash. So that's why it was like that.
It's just, I thought it was funny, kind of cool, but then I was like, that's just one less, maybe two, okay, now 3 less fast slow motion scenes and I'll be happy. Like, it was just one of those moments. That was what I was going to complain about. There we go. That's the end of it. No more gripes from me.
Fair enough.
All right, we're moving
What
on.
you got for news?
So, for news here, I have...
Might as well start with the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, the Suicide Squad one. Here we go. I actually think I fixed the graphic. Let me double check. Aha! I did for the most part. So the one for Suicide Squad that I had was Idris Elba will no longer be playing Deadshot.
Wait, he was supposed to play Deadshot?
Yep. He was going to replace Will Smith as Deadshot. And
Because I had heard that he was supposed to place a new character.
yeah, he is now officially playing a new character. It says...
Well, that's better.
Yeah. Though it was previously reported that Elba will be replacing Will Smith as Deadshot in the new pick, sources tell Variety that parties including director James Gunn have decided to move on from the Deadshot character, with Elba playing a new character in Suicide Squad. Warner Brothers has yet to comment on the decision.
I mean, I'm fine with that. I'd rather it be like that, because it means Will Smith can come back. He can still have what feels like a universe.
Yeah. I agree with you, because I originally heard that Idris Elba was going to be replacing Will Smith, and I was like, I don't like that. Because Will Smith has that Will Smith flair that brings Deadshot to life in this instance. And Idris Elba looks nothing like Will Smith, so he would have to keep the mask on the whole time. And Deadshot stuck in his mask after being most of the time without it in Suicide Squad, I don't think would have went well.
Yeah, and I mean, you've already got Jai Courtney coming back as Boomerang. You already have Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. So I don't see changing out one of the main characters to a completely different actor working as well. We've seen it done with other franchises, but I feel like this late in the game, it doesn't work.
Oh yeah, no. Like, so I'm looking forward to the next Suicide Squad. I'm also kind of interested because I understand that Heimdall's dead in the MCU, but
spoilers, man. Jeez.
We've already gone through spoilers. But like I always was told that if you worked for Marvel, you could never work for DC. So
Zachary Levi used to work for Marvel.
I know. So I find it interesting that now Zachary Levi, Idris Elba, and James Gunn are all working for DC from Marvel.
Well, once their contract's up, that's up.
Yeah.
Like.
So, but now James
Zachary Levi was what's his name? Fendel, I think.
No idea.
Like, he's the dude with the sword in out of the Warriors 3.
Okay. Yeah, I still have no idea.
Thor Dark World. He was the blonde one in Thor Dark World and Ragnarok who just gets killed.
Still have no idea. I know who you're talking about. I don't know his name.
Oh. Specify then, motherfucker. Fuck.
My apologies. Okay.
I wonder who he'll play. There's a couple characters in my head that I think he could do, but
I mean,
that means he can't be who I wanted him to be in the DCEU.
who do you want him to be?
Jon Stewart, bro.
Why do you want
Green
him?
Lantern.
Oh,
He'd be a great Jon Stewart.
yeah. Huh.
Like ex-military, Marine, who joins the Lantern Corps. He would have been fantastic at it.
So who do you think he could play? I mean, he's probably not going to be typecast because there's no such all-seeing Asgardian in DC. So I don't know what villain he could play.
Tiger Claw is his name, I think. Sabretooth. I can't remember his name. He's got super sharp weapons.
Ooh, Frozen.
Honestly, off the top of my head, I'm not thinking of anyone other than that.
Okay. Yeah, I've got. I don't really know DC well enough to be able to list off villains that he could play, unfortunately. And as I try to look it up, hang on one second. I'm gonna switch back to the right scene. Let's see, DC villains. Let's see here. So, ones that he.
One up you villains in Task Force X. Suicide Squad.
I'm just
Who
looking
have
at this
been
list
members?
here, and none of these really seem like they could work. Maxwell Lord? No, he's not a.
Bronze Tiger is who I. Well, no, that's not. Wait, is that who I was thinking of? Maybe Bronze Tiger. Not Vertigo. Vertigo would not be who I'd want him to be. No.
DC Extended Universe. Let's see here. Jesus Christ. Can't you just give me a list? Okay, here we go.
Yeah, Bronze Tiger's the only one that I was thinking of off the top of my head. Because he was in Task Force X in the TV version, and in one of the recent animated films, so he's still fresh in people's minds. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I could see that being the thing.
Maybe Vertigo. Maybe depends on how they do count Vertigo. But Vertigo also tends to fight Flash and the Batman and Green Arrow. So we'll see. Well, I honestly, I actually don't know who he'll play at this point. I ain't got no bets. I can't bet on it. I don't know. I don't know, Steven. I don't fucking know.
What about General Wade Eiling? I don't know. I don't know.
He's not a main, though.
Vandal Savage.
Not a member of the Suicide Squad.
The Bronze
Just-
Tiger.
That's who I was thinking. He's been part of Suicide Squad. You're looking at villains in general.
I know. I'm just naming them off now. I don't know anything about
Because
DC.
Vandal Savage would never be part of Task Force X. I will tell you that straight up.
Okay. So I have one other bit of news that I have, and then I'm pretty much all wrapped up here, and it's the head writer for Avatar, Aaron Ehazish, reveals that at some point they were going to work on a season 4 of Avatar, and it was going to be about Zuko and Azula getting their family together and trying to become brother and sister once again.
I felt like that was set up pretty well, so maybe.
Yeah. And like they say in the article here, I don't know at what point they reference it. Oh yeah, but it was. However, the writers wanted to focus on the live-action adaptation of M. Night Shyamalan's film. So,
Damn you, Shyamalan!
yeah, a lot of people liked Avatar because it was only 3 seasons. It had a lot of great story that wrapped all together, and it was short, sweet, and to the point, but it was well made and had a lot of depth. However, we could have had a 4th season of a very well-made anime, TV show, animation, and we don't because M. Night Shyamalan ruined it. Not only did he ruin the movie, he ruined the TV show.
Bastard.
That puts it into a new perspective for me. Like, this motherfucker ruined Avatar.
On multiple levels.
Mm-hmm.
How dare he?
However, I will say, if you do like Avatar and Aaron Ahaj is and their writing style, I definitely recommend watching The Dragon Prince on Netflix. He's their lead writer on that show, and it has a lot of the same vibes as Avatar, be it like emotional connections with like the characters, or like just the silly, goofy moments that happen right before it happened. Yeah. So I see comments in our chat here. I love the Avatar movie more than anything. PTSD now means post-traumatic Shyamalan disorder. I'm not entirely sure if I agree with that, but I think it's hilarious.
There.
It's just what a twist.
Yeah, I don't know what else. I don't know what else to.
The only other thing I could
it's-
talk about for us is, for some reason, it's not popping up. Oh, because I moved it. That's why. The only other thing I could talk about is our movies for next week.
I already edited everything below as well, and
Sweet. So yeah,
I made a tweet for it. So
we're wrapping up here. So you caught us just right as we were ending here, Danielle. Sorry, but yeah, next week we're going into Hellboy and Hellboy.
yeah, we are.
So, which one are you looking forward to? A specific Hellboy, Dev? The original, the new one?
I like the original, so it'll be good to rewatch that one. And from the trailers, the new one is going. I'm optimistic, but hesitant, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. It's part of the reason why I don't watch trailers for the most part. It's just they leave thoughts in my mind. They distort my unbiased opinion of how the movie should go.
You're the most biased movie watcher I know, Steven.
I know. But the whole idea for me of not watching the trailers is,
I know, so you have the least amount of information going in.
so I can enjoy the ride and nitpick the shit out of it. Now that I know Dora the Explorer movie is about the fucking family getting to the lost city of gold in Africa or something, not even El Diablo. Or like El whatever it is. Dorado, that one. Like, now that I know it's just that she's trying to survive being hunted so her parents don't get found, is the movie, I'm even more upset than I was before. So,
I don't know what to say, man.
August. Watch the suffering happen. So yeah, next week is the original Hellboy, followed by the reboot of Hellboy. And the next week after that is... I'm actually really looking forward to 2 weeks from now. Only because...
I'm looking forward to one of them.
Pet Sematary?
Yes.
Yes, I want to see this Pet Sematary movie now. I am super stoked. I kind of wish we put it in this week because I wish we didn't watch Suicide Squad again. However, it just works better in 2 weeks. It just matches the theme better, so...
Yeah, because we're doing the Curse of Lola right now. Which... Maybe? Who knows?
It might be an okay Conjuring film movie. Maybe.
We'll see. And then the end all.
Yes. Endgame.
Is this the movie that ends critically casual? Find out at the end of the month.
Oh God, that'd be. I just said we're gonna do things in August. How are we gonna end in April?
Shut the fuck up, man.
You're
People are gonna complain about it.
You're making us seem like Marvel when we say that everybody's dead and then instantly start promoting the next movie.
Well, we gotta promote the stuff that comes out later, or else no one's gonna show up. But we also gotta have the suspense of this one.
Fine.
Actually, I'll talk about that real quick, if I can.
Go for it.
I don't know if we've talked about that before, but I hate when people do talk about that, being like, "Oh, Endgame has no impact." The impact isn't for you; it's for the characters, which is the characters are supposed to impact you. If that makes sense, like
the point of that movie. I would agree with you. It's not that Thanos' snap is supposed to be the breaking point for us. It's supposed to be how the characters react to the snap. That's our
It's their breaking point.
Yeah, it's like
theirs. It's not our breaking point because we know they're going to come back. But it's the story of how these characters change during it is the story.
It's we'll see. I look forward to seeing this, and I am prepared for us to have another huge fight that week.
I will say you might as well watch the trailers because even the Russos have said that they're heavily edited and changed.
Oh yeah, they're heavily edited. They're changed. There's nothing more than the first 15 minutes.
You can't believe anything from what you see in these. Mm-hmm. What's real, what's not, and I'm just sitting here like, I hate you, Russos, because I can't even nitpick these for like my brain of wanting detail because you've done the thing that I love is me not knowing what the film's going to be about while also telling me what the film's going to be about. How dare you? You bastards.
They've done a lot to keep this stuff shrouded in mystery, and I'm excited.
Yeah, no, Disney's at this point the king of trailers for Marvel and Star Wars because you never know what the fuck the film's about. So
that could be a bad thing in instances like Star Wars 8, but
yeah, but with Marvel it kind of kills it.
Yeah, yes. No, I'm looking forward to that as well, and we'll see how that goes. If the anal reckoning is how it ends.
It's Reality Stone, man. As soon as he starts to fill the beginning, he'll be like, "Yes, my anus is bigger," and he'll be fine.
All right, and on that note,
wrong button. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us this week on this episode of Critically Casual. I've got nothing else to say, really. So check us out on Sundays here at 1 p.m. Next week we're reviewing the original Hellboy and the rebooted Hellboy. If you like what you're seeing here and possibly want to see more of us, there's always Third Player Optional on Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, I believe, or 8 p.m. one of those two. I don't know Eastern Time. So I'm just going to say 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, where they talk video games and video game news and reviews and such. And then on Thursdays, if you really wanted to hear us just kind of badmouth each other and have a great time at Dev's expense, watch the Har Har podcast on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Did I miss anything? Did I do good?
Nope. You did good.
Yay!
Follow us on Twitter.
Yeah.
I
guess we're done.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it there. My bad.